Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the MSI Gaming GT72 VR6RE. It's the 6RE bit that I was having trouble remembering. Now, one thing I will say right from the very beginning is this does come in a few different specifications. You can get it with a different GPU. This one's got a 1070. You can get it with a 1060, different monitors, different panels, different screens, different CPUs. So this is the one that we're going to be taking a look at today, which I will give you the full rundown in a sec when we come in to have a look. But you can customize it for your own needs, and they do loads of other ones as well. This one does come in at £2,000. Now I know instantly a lot of people are going to be going crazy because it's a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but I'll cover in the conclusion why it can also be not necessarily a lot of money as well. Obviously you can get cheaper ones, but they also do much more expensive, crazy speed, like desktop speed insanity models as well. I've kind of chosen this one to have a look at because it's middle of the pack, and I see this personal one, especially in the spec that I've got, as being probably like almost the sweet spot before prices get mental, and also for performance wise as well, because when MSI come to you, they sometimes, with some manufacturers, they just come and they say, would you like to have a look at this? Whereas when I spoke about this one to MSI, they said to me, what one would you like to see? And this was the one I chose. Now, I've only got it for a short period of time before people start thinking that I would be lucky enough to get to keep this. But before I start saying any much more about my thoughts on this, it's time for us to get it in and have a look. And before anyone loses their mind when you see the Lazy Susan, it won't be staying wood for very long. So a quick one on the desk. One thing I will say is when it comes to the box, you don't get a load of needless kind of stuff in there, bloating out the packaging and pumping up the price. You do get this little sleeve that you can put your laptop into, but it's quite flimsy. I would say that it's pretty much a shipping sleeve, although if you were going to be putting it in your bag to do a long train journey or something, you could obviously keep that. But it would be something I would advise to get yourself a decent quality case or laptop bag or something to go with it. The only other thing that you really do get in the box is obviously the charger. And we'll start with the charger quite soon, because I'm up on a table here, and this table is probably 1.2 meters, 1.4 meters high, and I have plenty of slack on this cable. Not only do I have plenty of slack on this cable, but the power brick was on the floor, and that is because from the power brick to the laptop charger there is 1.8 meters of cable. Then the cable that comes with it, which is a standard kettle lead that you would have for most normal PCs and stuff like that, that is then another 1.8 meters long. So not only can you have this up on a high table, a standing desk, or quite a distance away from your actual power socket, well, you can have it 3.6 meters away if you really wanted to go straight up. But there's lots of cable, and I love the fact that there's a decent amount of length from this bit to this bit, so that your power brick can sit flat on the floor and you've not got it kind of hanging and like trying to pull your laptop off the desk. Okay, so as I said, I would give you the full specs. The version that we've got, as I've said, is the 6RE, which means that we get Windows 10 kind of standard, unsurprising. Panel size is 17.3 inches, and we have the 1920 by 1080 IPS Gsync model. You can get it in just a normal IPS, and you can also get it in a 120 Hertz version as well. It's got an i7, it's the HM170 chipset. We've got 16 gigabyte on this one of 2400 megahertz DDR4, but it's got 4 slots in total. There's 2 being used on this, 2 times 8 gigabyte, but there's 4 slots in total, and you can take that up to 64 gigabyte as a maximum. You've also got a 1070 graphics card, but you can have it with a 1060 if you'd want. This does come with an NVMe M.2 solid state drive, it's got some crazy speeds on it actually, considering it is in a laptop. As you can see with our crystal disk mark, 2200 reads, and then 1200 writes, which is incredibly healthy for something on a mobile package. The monitor, as I've said, the keyboard rather, is a SteelSeries 1, which is fully customizable lighting, and there's some software that we can play around with that. Then you do get a Blu-ray writer built in, and then the other bits and bobs that we can talk about really are kind of the setting, the connections around and about with the laptop. So as you can see, we've got a light here, and the lovely lit up keyboard. The only lighting that you do get is a MSI logo, which is lit up at the back. So if you are playing it on a train, then you're going to get people's attention, but also you'd be amazed how many of these little logos I see at Insomnia recently lighting up the gaming hall. But when we do go around the case, I will talk to you more about the lights and the like, but we do have round this side, you can see that we have 4 USBs, and then you have your audio connections here, gold-plated audio connections as well. You do have a card reader. The little white lights on this side are your activity lights. So you might see, for argument's sake, like the hard drive flashing up if we were to open something. Then you've got the mouse pad and everything at the top. Now it's trying to open it. Mouse pad at the top. There is a little light around the outside of that as well as your mouse buttons. You can totally disable really easily in the software the mouse pad if you were to decide that you wanted to use an external mouse. We have got around this side your Blu-ray reader, and then we've also got 2 more USB 3s. When we look around the back, you have the main exhausts for your cooling, and you do have the GPU and the CPU on separate sides as well. But for connections wise, we have a mini DisplayPort connector. This is a USB-C type connector at the back. These are obviously going to become more and more useful as the more products come out. Then we've got a HDMI. Then this is killer networking. So that's killer Ethernet. It's obviously got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, and this is the connector for your power. You can do 4K 60 Hz with the HDMI and 4K up to 120 Hz with the DisplayPort, and so that means it's got a up to 120 Hz output on the DisplayPort for that side. You can also see a little Kensington lock here, but that's really it for the main parts of the externals. So on the far left of the keyboard, we have the power button up here, which is silver. The rest are black. We have this button here, which basically just blacks off the screen really quickly. We could call it the FAP button, although you do need to make sure that you've not got any like loud audio or anything like that. And with a quick press, it does come back again as well. This is the turbo button. This turns the fans literally from 0 or whatever they're running in auto mode up to a maximum. You also have a media button here for if you're playing music or something like that. It's a really quick launch button. Then on this button, you can flick through some preset settings for the keyboard itself. Okay, so I showed you how you can use the shortcut buttons to be able to change the keyboard, but there's also some software that you can use as well, which does a lot of other things. It's called the MSI Dragon Center. You probably do have to skip through all of this the first time, but I've been pressing skip, and it's meant that I've had to do it manually every time. But something that I do want to show you right from the start is the mobile center. Now if you go over here, you've got the download, and it will give you some QR codes, which you've got Android there, although there appears to be 2 Android signs and an Apple sign. I don't know whether this one is meant to be Windows. I have no idea. But anyway, so you can do that. I went onto the Play Store and I found mine very easily though, and I got it all downloaded. Now, if you want to use it, you do have to open the mobile connection. And one thing I will say is if you do have any problems, it could be due to sharing options on the laptop. So you do need to have that open and allowed. And then you can go search device, and we will do this in real time, and hopefully it will do it quickly for us. There we go. So we can see it's come up. And then what it will do is it will sync up with the laptop. Now, one thing I will say is I don't know whether it's because of my phone, but I've not actually been able to get an FPS reading on this part of my phone at all yet. But just to show you that it does work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the turbo fan button. And you can see up here that the fans have literally just sprung into life, and I'm pressing the button on the laptop, but it's coming up on the phone. But what you can do is on the phone, you have options for the, as I can show you, for the lights. So I'm just going to while we're on camera, because you can see it underneath. And you can do this. Now, I know it's gimmick, and you're probably not going to want to do it while you're doing it, but it could be something that you could trick with your friends or something. You know what I mean? It is kind of cool. It could also be nice that you can do this while you're gaming. But you do also have options for other things as well. We've got the LED wizard. You've got true color, which is to do with the actual panel itself. You can actually go into this, and for argument's sake, we will change it to sRGB, and you can see that the color tone of the monitor changed then really quickly. This is all stuff that you can do manually on the laptop, by the way. I'm going to put it back to gamer. Fan speed I had on advanced, but you've got cooler boost, basic and auto. And then we go back to that. Power options. You can this is something that you can change onto the actual screen as well, and I'll show you the shortcut that you got down the bottom, but you can change the shift option if you want. Oh, I clicked back. Oh, it's going to make me reconnect. See, that was my fault. It wasn't the app's fault. But we can get back into it quite quickly. It's picked everything up again. Something that is kind of nice is you can see that you've got your CPU and your GPU temperature. You've got your Wi-Fi connection speed, your Ethernet connection speed, as well as the CPU fan and the GPU fan. You can also see that I have a WhatsApp chat that's popped up. Okay, so we also have the shift button at the top. So what this can also do is shift between what we'll call the power modes. So you have an eco mode, a comfort mode and a sport mode. I have done some individual 3D Mark tests with these just so that you can see a bit between. If you are interested in performance, by the way, I will be talking to you about some gaming performance in a bit, but you can also click through to the OC3D website so you can see all the breakdown with all the things like PC Mark and all that sort of thing. What we can also do in the app is change the fan profile, but this is all available on here as well. And just to kind of give you an idea, what we can do is we can change the shift. And if I put it into eco mode, you can see instantly this changed to eco as well. The power options, what this does is this actually just takes you into the power options for the normal Windows stuff that you can find in the control panel. Like I said, you can change the true color, so you can, and it does it all instantaneously as well. This is all to do with the actual panel itself. The LED side of things, you can set up scenarios, so you can change those if you like. Then in here, you can also change it to change for audio, wave, breathing. It's all the similar sort of stuff that I showed you before. But I think this is the best kind of panel where you can see CPU usage, GPU usage, memory, temperatures, that sort of thing. There are some really nice stands that you can get for your desktop that you can keep there. That'd be really handy for gaming, long gaming sessions. And if you were, for argument's sake, like running a benchmark, well, you would be running a game, not a benchmark. But you can keep an eye on everything in the app. And then, for argument's sake, if you've been fragging for a long time, been on a big mission, playing loads of stuff with your friends for ages, you notice that your temperatures might be a little bit warmer than you like. You can see that we're running at about just under 1300 RPM. You can go into the fan speeds, literally just go cooler boost, it syncs it through, and then the fan speeds start to come up, and that will give you, as it said, your cooler boost. So this side of things could be really cool, saves you having to out tab in, maybe like interrupts the games and all that sort of thing. You could obviously have a custom fan profile, which is also an option. You just need to go into the advanced settings and you can set up a custom profile here. There's no way for you to actually set this graph up onto on your phone, but once you have set it, you can just flick it into advanced mode. So you need to come in here and set all your levels that you would like to run at. So that is an option for you as well. So that side of things, I think, is all pretty cool. This is quite novel, but I can see some really good uses for it as well, especially when you're kind of on the go. So I said to you, I did you a few benchmark runs in the different modes. We didn't cover this in the written review, but this is just to kind of give you an idea of the performance that you can get between the different ones. So this is in the eco mode, but this isn't, obviously Firestrike Ultra is designed for 4K gaming. So this isn't something that you would suggest, but it's just to give you a number of the performance difference. They do say eco mode is for sort of like just normal surfing and browsing and web documents, you know, just kind of normal quick Facebook use. This is the result for in comfort. This is kind of a bit of light gaming, you know, sort of like Counter-Strike sort of stuff where you don't need a lot of grunt. You want some slightly better battery length, you know, you want your battery power to last a little bit longer, maybe the sort of thing that you might be playing on the train or something, and you don't need, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of FPS going. This is in sport mode. You can see we're almost at 4,000 points here. This, I must say, is also with the basic fan profile, but then thinking to myself, oh, I wonder if it would perform better if you were to turn it on to the advanced fan profile. And with a bit more cooling, it went up yet again. Now, obviously, you're not necessarily going to want it on full-blown fans all the time, but if you were gaming with a set of headset, you know, with a headset on, it's not really, you can't really hear it. It's a little bit of background noise. It might just about drown out any possibility of you being able to hear your girlfriend or your wife or your kids moaning. So, you know, that could be a big positive. So looking at some raw gaming performance, it's 1080p because obviously we've got a 1080p screen on this. These are all average results as well. Sniper Elite at the bottom, do you know what I mean, 173 frames per second. You could easily get away with running that in the comfort mode because these were all tested in the sports mode because obviously we want to go for the best case scenario. You've got Metro down there, as you can see. The 2033 was just below 60, but then you've got the Last Light, which was hovering around the 60 frames a second mark. Both the Hitmans are very incredibly healthy, 80. Hitman Absolution back down to 60. Dirt Rally over 100. You could probably play Dirt Rally at around 60 frames per second in eco mode. So the laptop is incredibly capable. Okay, so on to the conclusion, but I will say just quickly that if you are interested in more of the performance results, then you can go and have a look on the OC3D website. We've done a lot more of the PC Mark stuff, a lot more of the CPU stuff. One of the things I've not mentioned is the battery life. Now with kind of normal web use and stuff, I was getting somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours. I did do quite a few battery cycles, but I was getting that quite well. Mixed gaming into it and I was getting a solid an hour, 15 minutes, pushing on an hour and 30, again depending on how stressful the game was. I actually took this on a recent trip to Overclockers with me and pounded it on the train, and I'm not going to be funny, it's not my thing to have taken a laptop on the train, but I have to say I did enjoy myself doing it purely for work and research, obviously. Now the award that we gave it, because this has actually been reviewed by my colleague Brian on the website, he had it a few weeks ago and it's here briefly with me so that I got a chance to have a play with it, because obviously we're all enthusiasts and we do want to get our hands on, you know, things at certain times. So I asked if I could have a play as well, and I thoroughly agree with him. One of the things I would say is, I don't know, I think they could have done a little bit more with the lights and stuff. Maybe with the laptop I'm a little bit too much of a geek. I love the keyboard. I personally found the keystrokes quite short though, and maybe that's because of the laptop that I use on a daily basis. But you do find yourself adapting quite quickly. So we gave it the Enthusiast Choice Award. One of the things I will say from a personal standpoint is I actually was quite impressed with the audio on this. It's got the dynamic and it's DIN audio, and you can play around with a lot of the settings. For films and stuff, again, it's really nice. I did watch some films, excuse me, some like YouTube videos, some music videos and stuff before I went, but then I did annoy people on the train because I didn't really think about it to start off with, but I was watching Stranger Things for a bit on it, and in the end I had to get my headphones out again because I got told off. But it is very clear. If you're going to be looking at using it as just like an audio machine, it's quite clear, but for audio, as in for like loud music, it might lack the depth. If you're just going to put some music on in the background while you're writing or something like that, it's okay. But if you want a bit of volume, maybe you're getting ready to go out or something like that, it's on in the background while your friends are around, you might want to think about getting yourself a separate speaker. Another good thing with something like this though is you can easily just use like a Bluetooth speaker. Could end up making your life a lot easier. I've got like a little Bose thing that you can kind of carry around, so that might be something that you might want to consider, because then you can take your whole audio setup with you, and especially if you get one that's got batteries and everything inside it, rather than having to rely on the mains, you could literally take a mobile set with you. I know that you can use your mobile phone for said Bluetooth, so you don't need to take your laptop with you, but you get the type of thing that I'm sort of going with. If you were going away and you were going into a hotel and you wanted to game and you wanted a bit better audio, or you're getting ready to go out, take that with you, you can stream it. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I actually really liked it, but the critical thing here that I can't stress is you've got near desktop grade performance. It's VR ready, but if you're not going to be using a VR headset, then you've got lots of options, because you've got your Gsync panel, which means it syncs the frames up with the GPU, rather than VSync where it would go 30 to 60 frames and there is no in between. With this you do get the in between. On this it goes up to a maximum of 75 Hertz, so anything over 75 FPS you would be wasted. But you know, still for a laptop, Gsync, IPS, the colours on it are lovely as well, and you can tune it to your what you personally like as well, because other people's eyes are quite different. I'm not too keen on that low blue light kind of things, but you've got plenty of stuff that you can tune around with. It's very cool as well. It was what I say, I should say quiet, that's the word I'm looking for. It's very quiet. When you've got it in the basic mode with the cooling, you can literally just get on with it and you won't hear it. It won't be obtrusive at all. You could game on that with it on your desk or on a train, and you wouldn't necessarily need cans on, and you wouldn't need to drown it out. But if you do want the utmost performance, get the temperatures down, you know, maybe you're having a fiddle, you know, you're doing loads and loads of benchmark runs, or it's a hot day, you've literally got a button on the side, which I love, that you can just click through. The Steel Series button as well, where you can actually set those modes up manually, you can just flick through them with a quick flick. So you can set all those up manually. You might even want to set them up for different games, or one of the options you could have on the music mode, so you could eventually find the music mode and then it pulses and beats a lot of it. There's loads and loads of options. Now I know, because I mentioned that it's £2,000, there are going to be loads of people out there that are going to be going absolutely crackers, because it is an obscene amount of money, and they're going to be telling you there's no point in having a gaming laptop. To be honest with you, it's not for everyone, and it is a lot of money. You know, if it's not for you and you think that you should have just spent that money on your desktop, that's totally fine. They're not forcing it down you. It's not like national service. You've not got to buy one. But the thing is, if you wanted something that you can quite literally just go like this with, pick it up, go to your mate's house, get on his Wi-Fi and then go onto a LAN, you know, and play with your friends. It's that simple. If you want something that you can take to and from uni without having to dismantle your whole system every time, this could be the answer. And because of the fact that we've got graphics cards now, like the 10 series, that are getting so efficient and they're not using much power and they're not creating much heat, that does mean that we can get, as I said, nigh on desktop grade performance in something that a weakling like me can pick up with one hand, and you can go on to a specific game and be playing at more than 60 frames per second for well over an hour. Well, say an hour and a half if you're playing the right one. So I think it's amazing, and I love the way they're going with it. It looks nice, it's built well, it's got everything that you could possibly want, and it didn't cost the earth. They do ones that cost the earth if you want to spend more money and you want to be able to play Witcher 3 at like 80 frames per second. They've got stuff that can do that, but I personally thought that this one was kind of the nice middle smart ground, which is one of the reasons why I was like, no, this really is one that I would like to cover on the video, because at the end of the day, you might not have heard of this, you might not have known about it, and I see my job as being maybe, possibly bringing something new to your attention, and I thought that was worth it. Anyway, so it won the Enthusiast Choice Award. I'm gonna be really upset when it gets picked up to go away. But never mind, you never know. Father Christmas might bring me one if I've been a very good boy. Will Father Christmas bring you one? Will you be telling your wife that Father Christmas bought you one? Anyway, I'd love to know what you thought on this. I would also like to know if you would like to see more stuff like this as well, because that's more one of the important things that we're trying to get at the moment. We're trying to tailor what we're bringing through the channel and stuff like that. So please do let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but for now at least, this is the Tiny Tom Logan Show. Yeah, let's just end with that. This has been the Tiny Tom Logan Show.